Hi everyone, my name is Lenier. Very excited to be here with you today. My story starts in a very interesting way. I was left behind by the education system. I was a bright young girl, good grades, but because of financial reasons, I had to leave school at 16 for a fast food job. When I think about my teenage years, I remember rage. I had been very passionate about feminism and racial justice since I was a preteen, and so it was glaringly obvious to me how the system was set up for me to fail as a young girl of color from a low-income community. When I, by very lucky circumstances, got back to high school the next year, I started learning about the environment. I learned that Western agricultural practices are causing us to run out of farmable soil, and that was going to predominantly affect women and people of color. I learned that by 2050, it's expected that we'll have at least 1 billion climate refugees, the majority of which would be women and people of color. So I realized that all of these things, the environment, racial justice, gender equality, were connected. I was looking around at all these issues as a very young woman, asking myself, what would be the most important thing I could do? And I realized I actually just can't do this alone. I need more allies. And then I looked outside of my bubble and I realized how little the average person knew about the social and ecological systems that keep us all alive, how little I knew. If you were to ask the average person what the leading cause of climate change is, they might tell you plastic pollution or gas-powered cars, because that's what the media focuses on. But plastic and cars, respectively, are responsible for 4% and 7% of global greenhouse gas emissions. We are not being given the full story, and we can't solve problems we're not even aware of. So when I was accepted to Berkeley the next year, I set out for myself to find out the truth about everything, find out the scope and scale of the ecological crisis, all of its different facets and faces, but also looking for solutions. I, like every person my age, just desperately wanted to know that there was a light at the end of the tunnel. Even at Berkeley, with one of the best environmental programs in the world, we were being told that there wasn't really a point in planning for a future because we wouldn't have one. And that is what the science says if we continue on the trajectory we're on. But the focus has always been on understanding the problem rather than a realistic path for what we can do about it. Being told that there wasn't a point in planning for my future did not make me feel defeated, it made me defiant, determined that there must be another way. So as I researched, I started designing a curriculum, and I incorporated decarbonization and the circular economy and regenerative food systems and so much more, things I wasn't hearing about in the media. And I wrote it as a sort of crash course, everything you need to know about the planet. It's solutions-focused, it's action-oriented, it's a vision for what a better world could look like. I named it Solutions for a Sustainable and Just Future. When I was 19, I started teaching my first class at Berkeley of 25 people. Within 4 semesters, I broke the record for the largest student-led class with 160. The next semester, I doubled it with 300. And I started reading the most crazy things in our student feedback. People were saying, this program was life-changing for me. I am simply not the person I was when I started this course. People who were studying bioengineering were saying now they wanted to go in a green chemistry focus. People who were in the business school were interested in starting enterprises that fit in with a circular economy. People were telling me they decided to change their major and career into environmentalism. All of these people are now moving out into the world with a vision for what a more sustainable and just future could look like, and there's nothing I can do to stop them even if I wanted to. And that has turned out to be the most important thing I could do. We attracted attention from the World Economic Forum and the New York Times, and all of a sudden people all over the world were paying attention to this program, and hundreds reached out wanting a similar program at their institution, because if the majority of educational institutions today still don't have a base level of environmental education. Earlier this year, we launched as a formal nonprofit, Sustainable and Just Future. Someone from the Clinton Global team heard me give a radio interview and reached out, and now we are a 2023 commitment maker. My vision is to equip the next generation with the knowledge and tools we need to carve a livable future out of a climate-changed world. I know utopia is impossible, but in my wildest dreams, we've just managed to keep every mouth fed in the face of an ever-destabilizing global ecosystem. I do this work for those younger than me. I do it for future generations, for vulnerable and disadvantaged people globally. And I do it for 16-year-old Sage.